where we've run to the ugly things of life and found a way to reassemble them to the beauty of God. So today we get to see Jeff Elhart. Jeff, where are you? You're here somewhere. There he is. Good-looking guy, great tan, got a tie on, and you know, bow ties are in. No, not at all. Bow ties are in today. I see bow ties everywhere. I feel like I'm at Harvard. Here you go. Sit right down here. You got a microphone there, and you know, Jeff and I talked this week, and we turned an hour meeting into 90 minutes, and my only problem already going in today is we don't have enough time. But right away, everybody, Jeff's going to be up front. Kathy Hamilton's going to be up front. I'm going to be up front because we're going to talk about something that exists in this room, and that's depression. Let's start first. You had some data. High school kids. Tell me about depression in high school.
High school kids, 1 out of 6 kids consider suicide.
One out of 6.
High schoolers, 9th to 12th graders. 1 out of 11 have a plan. And 1 out of 13 actually attempt. And that's this community and others around the world.
Yeah, so we're not talking about, you know, south side of Chicago. We're not talking about places where you say, well, that's over there. We're talking about right here. This is our reality.
Absolutely. And obviously it hit our family March 27, 2015, when my brother, after struggling with depression for a short 5 years, but most intently during his last months of his life.
And you shared with me, Jeff, that in a lot of ways you've learned in hindsight. There are many things that when you look back, you go, oh my goodness, you know, what were some of those things? What were the pieces of the rubble that you now look back and see?
It was immediately as guilt for me. And there's 2 unique emotions to suicide. One is guilt and one is anger. And I want to just go back to 2009. I experienced colon cancer, and a friend of mine shared with me these words. He said, you know, the other side of faith is fear and anger. And I never forgot about that. So when I found my brother lying dead on March 27, 2015, those are the first words that came to my mind, is the other side of faith is fear and anger. I couldn't go there, but I didn't know about this guilt thing.
When you look back, what could you or should you, I mean, could and should, right? That's what we talked about. But what were the things that you look back and you say, you know what, if only I would have?
Well, that's why we're running to the rebel. And first of all, we went to our church, Christ Fellowship Church in Florida, where we worship occasionally. And they were playing this movie, national debut of Hope Bridge. And we brought my wife and my mother went down there, and we said, this really seems to be the vehicle by which we can bring back to West Michigan and talk about mental illness awareness and suicide prevention. And so we did, but I was still missing a tool. I was missing that tool to overcome that guilt with my brother and see that the warning signs so I could have got him help. And that was the Be Nice tool. And the Be Nice is an acronym for Notice, Invite, Challenge, and Empower.
I think it's up on the screen. Is it up on the screen? There you go.
It's right notice changes in one's behavior. Notice change in one's behavior. If my brother, for instance, loved to boat, he loved to ski. During the summer of 2014, he never put his boat in the water. He never made any ski trip plans. Huge, significant signs, changes in behavior. Invite yourself to have that loving conversation. I invited myself, and then I challenged himself, but I challenged to the point, well, okay, I should have challenged him to the point, are you thinking of killing yourself?
But you didn't know.
But I didn't know, but now that I know what I know now, I would have challenged, because I have used the Notice, Invite, Challenge, Empower. I use it a handful of times a week, believe it or not. And empower myself to get people to professional help.
Now, there's a difference between the blues and depression. So they say, you know, if you have a marked change of behavior for more than
2 weeks.
More than 2 weeks, so all of a sudden someone who, you know, slept a healthy 8 hours a night, they're now sleeping 15, or they're not sleeping at all, or all of the things that they used to enjoy, all the normal activity suddenly goes kind of to the right.
Yeah, exactly. And if you count up all the articles that you read, and it's really what's frustrating afterwards. You read about depression, you read about suicide, and you read about grieving. It's not rocket science. We all can be lifesavers. And so you notice those changes of behavior, and then you just invite yourself to have a loving conversation. And hopefully we can improve lives before we have to eventually save lives.
Are you over the grief of the loss of your brother?
No,
Yeah.
I never will
Yeah.
be. But I will tell you this, that the Hope Bridge movie, there's the last scene in that movie where Jackson, anybody see the Hope Bridge movie? Okay. Well, Jackson as a young man goes on this journey to find out why his father took his life, and at the end, he burns the reminder of his anger that he was dealing with as a result of his dad's suicide, and he burns his broken guitar and the note that his dad left. And that's what I did. I wrote down on that plane ride home all the instances of my guilt. I said, Wayne, I'm sorry I didn't do this. I'm sorry I did this. There was 11 specific instances where I apologized to Wayne, and I buried it in his urn on May 28, his birthday, when we had a service. And I can say that I'm 80% relieved of that guilt. Does it haunt me once in a while? Absolutely. But before, I couldn't sleep at all.
Here's the million-dollar question for the morning. So you're faced with this rubble. Death of your brother, your business partner, your friend. You're caring for your mom and your dad who are now grieving. You're the son now.
I'm the only sibling then.
Where was the point in which you felt as though I can have a Romans 8:28 moment here? I can see all things in my life rearranged by God for his glory. What was the moment? Was it a moment? Was it a journey? What's that look like? Tell us.
I would say the moment was when I buried that guilt. We came back with the idea that we're going to use this movie. And then when we met the Mental Health Foundation, the originator of the Be Nice tool, and we brought it here, and we had a packed house like it is here. There's 1,100 people in this sanctuary. People are in the choir loft, and that was, okay, this is what the community, West Michigan, need. Now, we bring in, through funding, through Wayne Elhart Be Nice Memorial Fund, through from Ludington down to Hamilton to through Muskegon, 91,000 students that will be impacted with a Be Nice, and a potential of another 181,000 students by year-end, Grand Rapids, Newaygo, Allegan County, and Kalamazoo.
The beauty of that, to me, is the whole community thing. I mean, this isn't you and your family kind of doing a solo act. I mean, Be Nice isn't even yours. No. You told me the story. You were trying to find an acronym.
I was using the acronym, using the word depression. That's positive, isn't it?
Yeah, that would have really been.
And
yeah. Sorry.
So, yeah. No, we just have been through collaboration. In fact, we're honored to be winning the Community Choice Award through Wood TV's Connecting with Community for the collaboration that's taken place between Woodbridge, Hope Bridge movie and Elhart and Community Foundation in West Michigan. So
I'm, you and I live in the same house. I come home, you suddenly notice that, I'm not doing what I normally do. The weather's nice, but I'm not headed outside to play. I'm not mowing the lawn. I'm not doing those things. Take us quickly through nice.
Yeah. So I want to notice a change in behavior. So I'll use an example of an employee that came to me last week and said her 68-year-old mother didn't want to be around anymore. In other words, she didn't want to live. And she was taking the approach, well, Mom, you got to kind of suck it up. I said, no, wait, let's talk about nice. So first of all, what do you notice about her house? Where does she live? Battle Creek. Well, what does it look like when you walk in her house? It's a shambles. Has it always been that way? No, about 4 months. What does she look like? Does she take care of herself? What about her hair or dress? She's a mess. Has she always been that way? No. How about her attitude? Is she glass half full or empty? No. So those were signs of depression. And now you have to have it, instead of arguing, come in with a loving and caring and Christian feeling, mentality and say, Mom, I love you. I'm concerned about you. see, challenge, why are these things happening? Well, she doesn't want to be around anymore. Then you have to ask the question. The tough question is, are you thinking of killing yourself? You can't sugarcoat it. And I asked my mother 4 weeks after my brother died, Mom, are you thinking of killing yourself? And she said, I don't know, maybe. So I empowered myself to get her professional help in seeking professional therapy. It's really easy. As my wife said, Sherry said, you need a stop, drop, and roll of mental illness.
Man,
and we think of stop,
Bless God
drop,
for
and
our
roll, what do you
wives.
think of? Fire. Okay, when you think of depression, what do you think of? We need to think of NICE. That's how we need to think of. It's a tool that everybody can use, regardless if you're suffering with a mental illness or not, but it's a life-saving, but hopefully life-improving tool.
That's awesome. Well, Jeff's going to be up here afterwards. We'll have other people up here. You know, there are far more people around you that have suffered with depression than you know. I was telling Jeff, I had a time of depression in my life as a result of a physical illness. I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease a number of years ago, but before they were able to diagnose it, I'd lost 40 pounds in 3 months. So my subcortex thought I was starving to death. So it threw my adrenal system into neutral. And it was a time for me of learning what it was like to lay on a couch and feel like the couch had swallowed you and just not be able to get up. And so my empathy factor has gone through the roof. Please don't suffer alone. This is the community of Jesus Christ. Know those things. Jeff's got like 5 million of them. He'll hand out afterwards for you to give them to you. Let me pray for Jeff.
Could I give you one?
He's got the last
just
word.
one last word here. My brother, during his last months, loved to search for Petoskey stones. And I'm going to share just a quick story. Brian Coop was a member and friend here of this church. Shared this story when we had a ceremony for Wayne out in Colorado, one of his places he loved. And I gave these Petoskey stones to everybody. And Brian Coop said, you know how old this Petoskey stone is? They're over 350 million years old. Wow. And he said, Wayne will outlive this stone. Wow. And here are 2 Petoskey stones built on top of one another. And I think this was Wayne's way to rebuild his wall as he gave his life back to Jesus Christ on December 7, 2014, 4 months before he died. So this is for you.
Wow. Thank you so much. I will cherish that. What a beautiful reality of God's grace in the gospel. And no matter what Wayne struggled with here, he's home with Jesus.
Absolutely.
And he's worshiping. And believe it or not, that choir is even better than ours. Let's pray together.